The hall exploded in applause when Xiao Zhan's name was called. But fans froze for a different reason. Because at that exact second, the camera caught Wong Ebball smiling. Not politely, not for the press, but like someone whose heart had just spoken before his mind could stop it. The moment happened fast, almost too fast to breathe. Weibo Night 2026 was already heavy with tension, lights burning bright, names echoing through the hall like verdicts. Every nominee carried story. Every award carried weight. Then the title was announced. Weibo King 2026. Xiao Zhan. For a split second, Xiao Zhan didn't move. His eyes widened, shoulders stiffened, as if his body needed time to accept what his ears had just heard. Years of pressure, expectations, silence, resilience, all of it collapsed into one fragile inhale. Applause thundered. Fans screamed. Camera scrambled. And then, the lens found Wong Ebball. He didn't clap immediately. He didn't exaggerate his reaction. He simply smiled. A soft, unguarded smile. The kind that appears when no one is supposed to be watching. And in that instant, the entire emotional axis of the night shifted. Because Xiao Zhan winning was powerful, but Wong Ebball's reaction felt personal. In an industry where every expression is calculated, that smile stood out like a quiet confession. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It didn't ask for attention. And yet, it stole the spotlight. Fans noticed immediately. Screenshots spread within minutes. Slow motion replays flooded timelines across continents. Did you see his face? That smile wasn't for the cameras. He looked relieved. As Xiao Zhan walked toward the stage, Wong Ebball's eyes followed him, steady, focused, unblinking. Not the gaze of a rival, not the look of a colleague performing courtesy. It was the look of someone who understood the weight of that walk. Every step Xiao Zhan took carried history. Every breath carried survival. And Wong Ebball seemed to know that, without a single word being spoken. The hall was loud, but that moment was silent. As Xiao Zhan stood at the center of the stage, the weight of the moment finally reached him. The Weibo King trophy rested in his hands, solid and undeniable, yet his grip trembled just slightly. Not from uncertainty, but from emotion that had been held back for far too long. His voice, when he spoke, carried a quiet crack. Not enough to break, just enough to remind everyone listening that this victory was earned through endurance. He paused between sentences, not for effect, but because some feelings refused to be rushed. When Xiao Zhan bowed, it wasn't a rehearsed gesture. It was deep, intentional, a bow that felt like gratitude to the past, the present, and everything he survived to stand there. And once again, the camera moved. It found Wong Ebball, still seated, still composed, still wearing that same soft expression, unchanged, unshaken. The smile was no longer fleeting. It lingered, not wide, not dramatic, but steady, as if time itself had slowed around it. Fans felt the shift. This wasn't a reaction anymore. It was presence. Wong Ebball's eyes reflected the stage lights, but they were focused on Xiao Zhan alone. There was no distraction, no glance away, just quiet acknowledgement. And in that silence, fans understood something deeply human. Some victories are celebrated loudly. Others are honored quietly by the people who truly understand what it took to get there. The applause inside the hall never stopped. Yet emotionally, the loudest moment had already passed. Because what fans were witnessing was not spectacle. It was truth. Weibo Night 2026 was filled with glamour, status, and prestige. But this moment cut through all of it. Xiao Zhan's journey has never been linear. Neither has Wong Ebball's. Different paths, different storms. Yet somehow, their timelines have always echoed each other. That is why the smile mattered. It wasn't about headlines. It wasn't about symbolism forced by outsiders. It was about recognition. Recognition of effort unseen, of pressure endured quietly, of strength that doesn't always ask to be understood. Wong Ebball didn't need to stand up to be present. He didn't need a microphone to speak. His expression carried enough weight to say, "I see you." And perhaps that's why fans across the world felt emotional without knowing exactly why. Because we recognize that feeling too, the feeling of being understood without explanation. In an industry obsessed with narratives, this moment refused to be rewritten. It existed as it was, pure, unfiltered. Long after the event ended, fans replayed the footage again and again, not to analyze, not to speculate, but to feel. Because some moments stay with us, not for what they confirm, but for what they quietly reveal. Xiao Zhan's Weibo King title will be recorded in history. It will be referenced, celebrated, remembered. But Wong Ebball's smile will live somewhere else. In memory, in emotion, in the spaces between words where truth often hides. It reminded fans that success does not exist in isolation. That behind every triumphant moment is a past filled with uncertainty, resilience, and survival. And sometimes, the most meaningful response isn't applause. It's understanding. So perhaps the reason this moment refuses to fade is because it didn't ask to be noticed. It simply happened. And in doing so, it reminded the world that the most powerful emotions are often the quietest ones of all.